Hey everyone, I know it's been a little while since I've been here, but today I'm going to share with you all of the top 5 lists that I created based on the comments. So let's get started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my very favorite one I'll name first. So it'll go down the list from 1 to 5 in order of preference. So, okay, I'm going to start with bands. And first we have Ludo, then U2, then Flogging Molly, then I'd say Jethro Tull, and then Company of Thieves. Okay, so moving on to desserts, we have mint chocolate chip ice cream, which is my very favorite, followed very closely by coffee Heath Bar Crunch ice cream, which is so very good. Ben & Jerry's, you should look for it. Then I like spice cake with cream cheese frosting. Then Briga de Frega, which is a traditional Portuguese dessert that my mom makes. Basically, it's bread pudding made out of pound cake. You eat like 3 bites and you're good for a week. It is so good. And then last, I have cream de mint pie, which is a tradition at my house for Christmas. Okay, the next one was body parts, and it wasn't a very specific question, so I decided to go with body parts that attract me to the opposite sex. And so I start with smile, which is very important to me. I love a guy who can smile. Then his eyes, and then I look for hands because I find hands to be really attractive sometimes. And then backs, and then arms, last but not least. Arms can be very attractive. So, next is Doctor Who episodes, which is so ridiculously hard for me to pick. This one was probably the hardest. But what I came up with is Blink is my very favorite episode. I just love it. Then the Shakespearean Code, then The Unquiet Dead, then Silence in the Library, and The Planet of the Dead. I count them as one episode, so you can deal with it. And then last but not least is The Unicorn and the Wasp. So I kind of like the ones with historical figures. I think it's fun. Next we have movies, and it's really hard for me to pick my favorite movies, so what I've done is I've separated movies out into 2 categories. I have movies that I just love and I could watch over and over again. It doesn't matter how good they are or whatever, I just love them. And then I have what I'm going to call films, which are more, I really appreciate the way that they were made and how they're put together and that sort of thing. Sometimes they overlap, but I've got 2 lists of movies for you. In the category of movies that I just adore and I could watch a million times, I have Singin' in the Rain, 7 Brides for 7 Brothers, Contact, Kenneth Branagh's version of Much Ado About Nothing, I love that adaptation, and The Princess Bride. And in the films category, which are movies that I just love how they're made, I have Singin' in the Rain also, because that's a really important landmark film in American filmmaking, and it's just one of my favorites. It is so well made, I love it. And then next I have Paris Je T'aime, which is a French film that came out a few years ago, and I think it's really interesting because it basically takes a bunch of short stories, short films, and puts them together like a short story anthology. I think it's a brilliant idea, and each film has a different director and it's set in a different arrondissement of Paris, so you should really look into it. And third is Amores Perros, which is a Mexican film that came out in the year 2000, and it's really hard to watch because it's such an intense plot and it's so painful and the things that happen to these people are so awful, but the filmmaking is beautiful and the film as a whole is just amazing, and you have to get through the whole thing, but it will really affect you. It's great. So fourth is Ashes and Diamonds, which is a Polish film made in 1958 by Andrzej Wajda, and I think that it is one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen. It's set on VE Day in 1945, and it kind of deals with what happens at the end of the war and what it really means to move past the war in Poland. And it's beautifully made. It's the end of a trilogy. You can watch it on its own. You don't have to watch the other 2. But it's one of those movies that I saw and I just can't get it out of my head. It's so interesting and vivid. So, number 5 is V for Vendetta. I really love it because having taken a few film classes, I can really see the effects that other movies have on it. How the director took these shots and these ideas from other films, like even Charlie Chaplin films, took it and just put it in to make the cinematography, and the camera work in that movie is just brilliant. So, those are my top 5 lists. That's it for my video for today. But I'd really love it if you guys would leave me video ideas for my next video down in the comments, and I will try to pick one of the things that you ask and do it for my next video, which will hopefully be just later this week. I'm going to try to make more videos. I've been really slacking off on them, so I'm going to work really hard to get one done this week, but if you guys give me ideas, I'll get it done way faster. So, bye!